Hi there, it's Ron again. Just making another video about mental health. Um, well, um, like a lot of people, I'm sure I've really been struggling lately. I'm still making progress. I've made a lot of progress, especially the last 3.5 years. But, between the pandemic and uh, economic troubles, the upcoming holidays, everything else, um, it some days are some days are tougher than others, and one of my favorite sayings is recovery is not a linear process. I just wanted to share a few things, and this gets to the heart of why I'm sharing my story. And I usually post on Facebook um, that like Monday, I'm seeing my therapist again. I usually post, yeah, I see my therapist tomorrow. I see my therapist on Tuesday or Monday or just whatever day that happens. Trying to get the point across that I'm working on this. By the way, my therapist actually gives me homework. One of the assignments was, and I have another one that's all filled out, a trauma roadmap. Um, which has stuff on it. The trauma event, and then you rank it like loss of my friend James, rank 1 to 10. That was about a 12. Key feeling words, subsequent life events. Just describe if and how trauma impacts the present. Coping mechanisms. For me, it was drinking, isolating, self destruction. Um, uh, have this stress survival thing. Um, Here's something that has helped me along the way, and it helps a lot of people, I think. This 5-second mindfulness to relieve stress quickly. 5 things you can see, like the Zooster there, my wonderful dog Zeus, right, Zeus? Um, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And this can kind of help ground you, kind of help you get grounded and refocused. And it can especially help when you feel panic attacks coming on. That's happened to me a few times lately. The main thing I want to stress, though, is again, recovery is not a linear process. And all this requires work. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but someone I know who has endured many of the same battles with mental health that I have. Well, just to be blunt, they've relied too much on their meds, and they'll spend days at a time in bed. I mean, just not getting out of bed, or just not getting out of the house, not doing anything at all, other than usually making their weekly therapy session. But they have that luxury because through family they inherited a lot of money, so they don't really have to worry about bills and such. But the thing is, and again, I'm not throwing anyone on the bus because that's part of the mental health issues, is relying on the meds to make you feel better, when it's cognitive therapy and mindful meditation and things like that that actually help you rewire your brain and rewire your thinking. Whereas the meds, which can be quite helpful, but they're basically addressing the symptoms, basically helping you stabilize a little bit. And I see that in a lot of people that they're relying on meds too much and they're not actually doing the work. Because here's the bottom line that I'm trying to get across here in a very roundabout way, turns out, is it takes a lot of work. As I said, my therapist quite often gives me some kind of homework to work on, gives me something to write down, or gives me this, like, things like this trauma roadmap, which is not a fun thing to fill out, but it's something that's very cathartic and therapeutic to fill it out and start working through those feelings, which were there anyway, but it helps bring them up and out. And the bottom line is working at it. It's not a linear process. Few things really are, but you have to keep focused as much as you can, keep working on it. Again, Monday I see my therapist again, and then after Thanksgiving, I'm not sure what day after Thanksgiving, I'll see her again. And there's a couple homework assignments that I'm still working on, and it's all a process. But just wanted to get that across, that there's no magical formula for therapy and recovery. There's no magical formula. There's certainly no magic pill. It's like just about everything else. You have to work at it. And I've been working at this now with my current therapist for 3.5 years. And it's going to be ongoing for a while. There's not really a finish line with mental health. There's not really a finish line. But you can tell, when you've made progress along the way. You're making progress along the way. And by the way, speaking of progress, December 7th is going to make 19 months of sobriety for me. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal for me. And that's something, anyone who's achieved sobriety, give yourself a pat on the back. Don't take it for granted. Don't think that you're in the clear, because every day starts all over. Gotta stay sober. But just keep that in mind. Everything I said about that, this is something you have to work at. And try not to get too discouraged in these times. I have to remind myself that. I'm telling myself that right now, because it's been a very dispiriting few months. All right, everyone, remember, we are luminous beings, and y'all take care.